Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I see your message in the chat section, and we will start in 8 minutes. All right, so that's why it's a bit quiet in the room. We'll start in 8 minutes. That's top of the hour. So take the time to interact with one another in the chat section. You can introduce yourself. You can tell us where you're joining from. That's the country. If you are in school, you can tell us maybe what you're doing. If you have a business, what's the name of your business? What do you deal with? So let's interact with each other in the chat section for the next few minutes. We will start top of the hour. Thank you. Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Berry Lokwach. I'm joining from Kenya. I'll be your trainer for the day. So you can let me know if you can see my screen, if you can hear my voice, and if you can see my face, please let me know in the chat section. I actually can see all your comments, and I'm happy to have all of you here. If you know someone who's supposed to be here, please feel free to share the session link with them to join. Awesome. Thank you so much for the confirmation. I'm happy to be here as well. Thanks, Jennifer, Jacqueline, Ifeolua, Josephine, Miriam. I can see some of my country people, Mercy Bet, I see you, and so many other people from across Africa. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Jemima. Awesome. So I have with me on the call my colleagues who are going to help with moderating. So you'll see them a lot in the chat section, responding to questions, dropping some resource links as we move throughout the session. I have Evelyn with me on the call. Evelyn, do you want to say hi?
Hi, hi, beautiful people. Good morning. Hi, Beryl. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Evelyn.
I'm
Thank you.
okay. Nice to be here.
Awesome. Then I have Grace with me on the call. Grace? Grace, you
Hi
can say
everyone, good
something.
morning. Yeah, good morning, Beryl. Good morning, everyone. Trust that I'm doing good.
All righty, thanks, Grace. And then there's Patrick Makit. Patrick, do you want to unmute and say hello?
Everyone, hi.
Hi.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
All right, good morning. So those are my three colleagues. They are all joining from Nigeria. So there was Evelyn, that's the first one you heard from, then there's Grace, and then there's Makit. They're all joining from Nigeria. Like I said, I'm joining from Kenya, and I will be your trainer for the day. So as we move along the session, just a few house rules. First of all, if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section, because there's a lot of comments coming in the chat section. We might miss some questions. So if you have questions as we move along, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A session. I will be taking brief pauses throughout the class to respond to the questions. However, my colleagues will also be tackling some of the questions and dropping their responses in the chat section or in the Q&A session. So please make sure you take note of that, all right? We're not sharing any recordings, so there are no recordings from the session. We are not sharing the presentation deck. So we encourage that you actually take notes. So make sure you take notes today, tomorrow, and all the subsequent days. Make sure you take notes. And then what am I missing? I think that's all. Yeah, attendance, will give certification for 80% attendance. So throughout the 3 weeks of the class, you have to attend 80% of the classes to qualify for certification. So please ensure that you attend all the sessions if you can. And if there are instances where you have to miss, please just ensure that at least you hit the 80% attendance mark. All right. All right. So I'd like to officially, is it open or what? The cohort 3 AU-CIEFFA session. And I'm hoping we're going to have a good ride. Now, if you're ready for us to begin the class, you can drop an emoji in the chat section. You can let me know we are ready to start. I'd like us to start together, so that we move together. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for that. Eleanor, thank you. Thank you, Dorcas, Daphne, Radiet, Refilwe, Petronila, Usaina, Jessica, Victor, Tobilola, Awesome, Mercy, Claire, Victoria. We are ready. Awesome. So there are three tracks we're going to cover throughout the whole course, right? There's digital marketing, there's financial literacy, and then there's entrepreneurship training. Now, we'll start with the digital skills training bit of the whole course. And our first class is on building a reputable brand and selling online. Because at the end of the day, even if you want to get into social media management or, social media management falls under digital marketing. Now, if you want to get started with digital marketing, either as a career or you have a business and you want to get into digital marketing, you first need to understand about building your brand identity and having a good brand reputation. All right. So those are the things you're going to cover mostly in today's class. Let me just minimize this because it's blocking my screen. All right. Now, the first thing is understanding what a brand is and why you should have your brand on the online space. All right. And then once you get to figure that out, who are your target audience? Who do you want to, who are the people you want to consume your brand? All right. So who are you targeting with your brand? And then at the end of the day, for any business, is you want to make conversions. So how do you ensure that you generate sales on social media? Now, when you're going through this class, I might give a lot of examples related to managing a business on the online space. But the thing is, if you want to get into digital marketing as a career, these are still things you need to understand, right? I will be giving maybe concepts or conceptualizing in terms of businesses, but once you understand that bit, you should be able to know how to apply now as a digital marketer. I don't know if you understand, but I hope we are together. All right. Now, before we begin, I know I said you will be asking me a few questions. So I'll also be asking you some questions. The first thing, if you have a business, for those who have businesses, all right, or for those who've interacted with businesses, how are you currently making your business known online? What are the strategies that you're using to make your business known on the online space? Or what have you come across for businesses, who have manipulated the online space? Husseina says posting on LinkedIn and TikTok. Awesome. Talent says advertising on Insta, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Omololu through social media and a website. I only have 4 responses. And guess what? We're almost 300 people on this call. Posting on TikTok, content creation, WhatsApp groups. You post on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks, Marie Claire. Word of mouth. Posting on social medias and WhatsApp. Awesome. Awesome. On X. So far, only emails. There's someone who's only doing email marketing. All right. Okay, so this gives me a better understanding of where we already are with understanding of the social media space, which is very, very important for me as your trainer. Using of social media, email marketing. Awesome. Thank you so much for the responses. I appreciate. I actually like a lively class. All right. Now, for those who posted on those spaces, what advantages have you garnered from taking your business to the online space? What are some of the advantages? Bigger audience. Thank you, Precious. Precious says bigger audience. Jules says new audience. I was able to network, higher reach, easy to make more customers. Okay, increased reach, many referrals, I've gained more visibility. Awesome, target audience visibility, get people to know what you do. Open to constructive criticism, very, very important. That's very, very important. Thank you for that response. All right, appreciation, more orders, international market, exactly. So you're not just limited to having customers within your locality, all right? The more you expand your visibility, the more you get customers who are in different geographical locations. They don't have to be exactly where your business is located, all right? And then Onyinye says, I haven't made sales online yet, but got more inquiries and visibility. That's one step, all right? That's one step. And then I hope that as we go along, you're going to figure out what you can do to ensure that at the end of the day, you achieve your business goal, which is conversion, I presume. All right. Now, the first thing you need to have as a brand is a brand identity. You need to, how do people perceive your brand? How do people know your business? All right. So that's the first thing to do. These are the visible what am I saying? These are the visible elements of your brand. So you're looking at your brand colors, you're looking at your logo, you're looking at the designs that you use for your flyers, for your social media posts, all right? So you'll find that, I'll try and give an example with maybe MTN, okay? I think MTN's color is yellow and blue, am I right? What are the brand colors for MTN? Yellow, yes, yellow, exactly. So you'll find that if you look at their billboards, if you go to their social media flyers, if you look at their logo, they'll have that yellow with them, all right? And it's consistent throughout their designs. So that's one thing. That's part of their brand identity, all right? Then there's their logo, exactly, and Coca-Cola is red, all right? If you look at my slide, even the what else? If you go to Impactor's social media, what would you say are Impactor's brand colors? What would you say are Impactor's brand colors? What would you say are Impactor's brand colors? Just from my slide itself, just from our social media posts, brown and orange, red and yellow, maroon. Okay, we are perceiving colors differently. Some people see red, yeah, maroon, mustard, burgundy. All right. So you see, already you understand what I'm talking about when I say colors are part of what make your brand identity. They make people relate to your brand. So sometimes you'll find maybe there's a poster flying around. Maybe it does not have Impactor's logo on it, but you'll see the brand colors and you'll be like, this looks like Impactor's posters just because of the color. Do you understand? So people relate to that. All right. So you're looking at, it's not white and black. Giovannis, it's not white and black. Okay. But it's the wine red. I want to say yellow because I don't know if it's orange. I'm colorblind, so forgive me for that. Right? Okay. So your brand identity are the visible elements of your brand, and it's very, very important that you ensure that you create your brand package. All right. So you're looking at colors, you're looking at having a logo. You know, sometimes you'd say, I don't have, as a small business, I don't have money to, you know, get a design, a creative to create a logo for me. So there are apps or platforms like Canva that you can use to create your own, exactly, platforms like Canva that you can use to create your own logo, all right? And it's free to use. You just go and create an account. Of course, there's a premium version that you pay for, but there's a free account. I mean, there's a free version that has no limit. You know, it doesn't tell you 1 month free and then pay for the next month. No. So there's just the free version that you can actually use to, and you can use ChatGPT depending on the prompt, yes, because even Gemini, all right, some of these AI platforms also generate images, So things like ChatGPT or Gemini, but I would actually recommend Canva because it's easy for you to customize. Yes, it's easy for you to customize. Okay, so you get a template and just customize it to your own specification. Exactly. So I would actually recommend Canva for that. Why is it important? So like I said, having a brand identity, it helps customers relate with your brand. They identify with your brand, all right? So it's very, very important that you give your customers that experience. I hope we are together. Now, when you want to create your brand, starting with creating your brand identity, the first thing you need to have a business name. You can't start creating a logo and you do not have a business name. So what's the name of your business? It's very, very important. Beryl's Organic Shops, Beryl's Electrical Shop. All right. I'm not good with business names, so I'm just putting my name in front there. Do you understand? And then design your logo. We've just talked about Canva. You can use Canva to create your logo. I'll have one of my moderators drop the link for Canva in the chat section. So for those who don't know about Canva, you can always copy that, paste it in your browser. Julian, all right. I mean, Julian's, exactly. Oh, your business name is Julian's. Yeah. So I'll have one of my moderators drop the Canva link in the chat section. For those who have not interacted with Canva before, you can copy it and put it in your browser, and then you can look at it after the class. All right. And then you need to figure out your brand colors. Now, pick one or two colors. You don't want to have like 5 brand colors. It's a bit confusing and not even pleasing to the eye. Do you understand? It's not even pleasing to the eye. If I look at your posters and you have a cocktail of like 5 colors, do you understand? Just keep it simple and classic. All right. So use colors, you can use shapes. You'll see that in most of our slides, we either use figurines. All right, we will use figurines, we will use shapes. If you go to our social media posters, you'll find that we use real pictures, all right, of the women that have benefited from us, things like that. So you need to have a style and a design that resonates and that is consistent. So use colors, shapes, or other visual elements. It's up to you to figure out what works for you. Do you understand? Thank you so much, Evelyn. The Canva link has been dropped in the chat section. And then craft the language in your advertisements. What is the personality that you want your brand to embody? All right. So do you want, when you're doing your communication, when you're posting on social media and whatnot, do you want to appear as you are maybe witty? Do you want to shake up a witty character? Do you want to take up a witty character? Do you want to take up a funny character? Do you want to take up a character of maybe a serious person? What's the personality that you want your brand to encompass? Do you understand? So, I mean, if you're in Kenya and you go to Safaricom social media pages, Safaricom is one of the, I think the biggest telecoms company in Kenya. Yeah. So if you go to, for example, Safaricom's page, you'll find that they have a very easygoing, they've embodied an easygoing personality. So they will be responding to you. They make a lot of jokes, right? Sometimes it's usually pretty funny. If you go to KCB, one of the biggest banks, they have this witty personality, all right? And they've been consistent with it throughout. So that's also what you need to do with your business. Exactly. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Jules. And then at the end of the day, if you have employees, you need to train 1 or 2 people, all right? Because you can't be the one running the business, running social media. If you can get someone to do or delegate maybe social media marketing, then they already know this is what is expected of me. I cannot just go online and post this certain way because that's how I want to post it. No, I need to know this is how we do things here. This is the personality that we have. This is how we do our designs. All right. This is how, if you have a turnaround time for communication, this is how we do it. Do you understand? So you need to train your employees to interact well with your clients. Do you understand? So why do you want to take your business online? It's very, very important. What are the benefits that come about to your business by taking it to the online space? The first thing is you get to buy and sell your product. All right. If it's buying, when I talk about buying, is you can get your suppliers for raw materials on the online space. All right. Maybe if you're in manufacturing, you're into production, maybe you do hibiscus tea, but you're not a hibiscus farmer. You can get someone, you can just go online and maybe you find another person who does maybe hibiscus farming. All right. Then you partner with them. So they'll be providing with you with the flowers so that you do the processing and whatnot. So you can buy and you can also sell your products on the online space. You're able to reach out to your customers. All right. As much as you're creating your page and you want people to get to know about your business, there's also the essence of you reaching out to them. How do you reach out to them? It depends on, you can join groups on the online space. If you're a tours and travel company, they're usually these groups on Facebook, for example, that communities, all right? And you'll find, I'll give an example like one we have here in Kenya. It's called Wanderlust Diaries. So most of the people who have joined the Wanderlust community are people who like to travel, who have an interest in traveling. So if I'm a tours and travel company, I would want to join this community because these are my potential clients. You understand? So I am actually reaching out to them. I'm not just sitting and waiting for them to discover my page. So that's one bit. The other bit is I could decide to run paid advertisements on the online space. And that's something we're going to look at in the next classes. All right. So there's also researching competition. You need to understand, what is my competitor doing right? What is my competitor not doing? And if I find a niche that my competitor is not manipulating, can I use that niche and create my own unique selling point or unique value proposition that makes me stand out? Do you understand? And there's nowhere it has been written that if your competitor is doing something and it's working for them, that you can't do the same thing. You just replicate. If it works for you, it works for you. Do you understand? I also talked about advertising. You're able to do paid advertisements on the online space. All right. So those are some of the benefits. And then the other thing is you have 24/7 availability. If I have a physical shop, I will open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. If someone wants to walk in at 7 p.m., they'll not find me there. All right. So that's probably a lost customer or a lost lead. But now if I'm on the online space, even if I'm, at the comfort of my couch, I can always just browse on my phone. If someone drops a message at 7 and I'm not sleeping, I can decide to respond to them. And then there's also right now there's the bit of automating messages, right? If someone finds my number online and they text me, there's the automated message, that you can always craft and customize. Hi, thank you for reaching out to Beryl's Organic Shop. We are closed at the moment. We will open tomorrow at 8 a.m. We should be able to respond to you then. So this person already knows, oh, I texted these guys and they're closed. So I'll pick up this conversation with them tomorrow. It's easier that way. And that's also good customer support, all right? And then there's also low operating costs. When you have your business on the online space, assuming you don't have a physical shop, you're not paying rent, you're not paying to create a Facebook page. If you decide to do paid advertisements, it's dependent on your budget. There are no overhead costs related, all right? And there are different places you can decide to place your business on the online space. And I hope we are moving in together. I'm not moving in. I hope you're moving together. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope I am explaining pretty well. Thank you, Radiet. Awesome, thanks. So if I'm also fast, you can let me know. Thank you, Jules. All right. The different avenues where you can post your business. You're looking at social media, and there are different channels for social media. Dr. Magoro, I'm a little fast. All right, I'll try slow down a bit. Okay. I'll try slow down a bit. So, all right. Now, if you want to place your business on the online space, there are different platforms, there are different avenues. You can do social media. Social media, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there's TikTok, there's X, there is LinkedIn, all right? Which other channel am I missing, all right? I mean, top of my head, those are the common ones. And then there's also a website. You can decide, you know what? I think for my business, a website would work. There are two types of websites. There is exactly, I missed Telegram and WhatsApp. Yeah. Then there are two types of websites. There's a display website and there is the e-commerce website. Display website is, the normal website that you have. Someone can scroll through, learn more about your business, get your contact information. You have your inquiry form over there. And then there's the e-commerce website. The e-commerce website is now where people are able to buy on your page, all right? You list your products on your website. They can click add to cart and check out. So you allow for online buying, right? So you can decide between the two websites which one works for you. And then there's the business directory. This one is the African business, it's called what? African business page. I think, yeah. And then there's yellow pages. Yellow pages is the most common, all right? So you can decide to also list your business in the yellow pages. For those of us who are very old, right? We remember the yellow pages. That was the big book that it was usually in the payphones. You know those payphones that were there before mobile phones? Yeah. No. So not like Jumia. So Jumia, that one we are talking about e-commerce platforms. So yeah, you can decide to have your own website like Jumia, but now you're not Jumia because you're not listing other businesses on your website. It's just your website with your own domain. Do you get? Yeah. Business directory is like Yellow Pages. Oh, wow, Bethel. What is a Yellow Page? It's a, it's a business directory, okay? Yes, that yellow book, exactly. So Yellow Pages, it's a business directory where businesses get to list information about their business. So you can put your business name, your contact details, your directions, and what you do. And the thing with Yellow Pages, they are segmented according to sectors. I'm very old, so you can tell. Why do I even know that? Mwila, yeah. So, and then they segment according to sectors. If I want to get plumbers, there are different plumbing businesses. If they decide to list themselves on the business directory, I'll get their names, I'll get where they are, I will get their contact information. Do you understand? Yes, right now it's online. Initially, it was not online, but right now it's online. All right, and you pay for them to list your business in their space. I hope for those of us who don't know what Yellow Pages is, I hope I've explained pretty well. There's that. And then there's e-commerce platform. I think most of us know this. We're looking at Kilimall, Alibaba, Jumia, Amazon, all right? So those are examples of e-commerce platforms. So you pay for a space and you're able to sell on their site. Do you get it? So those are the different avenues that you can decide to leverage on if you want to take your business to the online space. Are there any questions? Is there any questions so far? Awesome. Thank you, Patricia. Let me check the Q&A session. I think I have like 3 questions. I've already responded. What is a business directory? Do I have to register my cake business in order to have a brand? You don't even need, I mean, of course, you get benefits when you register your business in your whatever country it is, but it's not mandatory, all right? So you need to have a business name, the logos and whatnot. No, so you don't need to register, okay? And then there's Diana, will you be teaching the technical setup for chatbots and social media backend insights? So there will be a session for data and insights later on in the class. We will not talk about, for sure, I know there's, we won't go through technical setup of chatbots, that one I know for sure, all right? And then will you offer any subscription to platforms? So no, we don't offer subscriptions to platforms. So this is more or less, all right, also Evelyn is responding to that, basically, so I'll leave Evelyn to that, awesome. I can see Evelyn is responding to that. How do I decide the language for my brand? It depends. Who are you targeting? Are you targeting English-speaking countries or English-speaking customers? Are you targeting French-speaking customers? If you want to target both English and French, then you want to ensure that, for example, ensure your website has the translating feature. So if I go to your website, their website, you can go to and choose the language and everything will be in French. So it depends on who you are targeting for you to determine the language to use, all right? Can your business name be the same as your logo? Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So business directory. I mean, the thing is, I can only explain high level, and then at the end of the day, you also have to do your research and figure out about the business directory. Angie. And then anonymous, not directly related to the present discussed, but does one check off the anxiety of starting a business, especially if it's their first business? The thing is, you'll never know if you're making the right decision or the wrong decision, all right? So long as you have a business idea, you have small capital, the most important or the hardest bit is to start, all right? If you second guess everything about starting your business, you're never going to make any progress. So, and there's no shame in failure. You can start a business, it will go under in 2 months, 3 months. What do you have? What is your takeaway out of it? It is the lesson, right? It's what you've learned. So you can start your business, it fails in 3 months and it's fine. You pick your lessons and apply in the next one, okay? But if you have to stay back and sit with your ideas and never start, you're never going to make any progress. That's for sure. Okay. Reliability is an issue when it comes to online business. How can we make our customers build trust? the first thing is your delivery, all right? You don't want to be listed as what was ordered versus what was delivered. I mean, I think you've seen all those posts. So the first thing is being able to earn the trust of your clients. How do you earn the trust of your clients? The first thing is, I think we'll start with maybe consistency. How consistent are you online? How do you engage with your clients? For those who bought from you, how have you interacted with them? You can also, for those who have bought from you, you tell them to drop reviews on your website or drop reviews on your Google business profile or drop reviews on your social media pages. If I come to your page and I see maybe there are posts that you were tagged on or people commented and give positive reviews, then I'll be like, okay, this looks like a legit business. So it's one step at a time. Do you understand? And then, oh, you mean the language for advertisement? Yeah. So it depends. That's on you. That's at your discretion. How do you want to relate with your clients? I want to appear as a serious, serious person. So I'm usually just straight to the point. Or I want to be friendly. I want to have a friendly character. All right. So that's all dependent on you, on how you want the customers to consume you. All right. So some of the questions I'll leave my colleagues to respond to them, because if I have to respond to all of them, then that means we will go over and above the time that has been allocated for us for this session. So please look out for some of the responses from my colleague. They should be able to respond to some of the other questions that I have not tackled. All right. Now, the other thing is understanding your target audience. You've already built your brand identity. You have your business name, you have your business logo, you have your brand personality. You've decided on the elements to use. If it is shapes, if it is figures, figurines, if it is, human forms, all right? You've already created your brand identity. Now, how do you find your target audience? The first thing, what is a target audience, all right? These are the people who make the purchasing decision on your business, all right? Is it purchasing decision? Yes. So these are the people who actually are in need of whatever you're offering. If it's a product or if it's a service, that's your target audience, all right? Now, there are two types of target audiences. There's the decision maker. This is the person who makes the final purchasing decision, all right? If you are a cosmetics shop, you want to target mostly ladies because they're the ones who make the final decision to buy the makeups from you, all right? So you would term that as your decision maker. And then the supporter, sometimes you would want to target maybe some men, okay? Because at the end of the day, these men have wives or girlfriends. They might want to buy, some makeup or cosmetic things as gifts for their wives or something. So that's the supporter, all right? I'll give an example. If you go to maybe a park or a showground, you'll find those people who sell ice creams or candy. And most of them, if you have a child and you pass near them, you will find that they will not be talking to you. So you'll pass there with your child and they're telling the child, oh, we have candy, we have cotton candy, we have ice cream, because they know this child will influence the mother. Mom, I want this and that. Mom, I want this, So that's the supporter. So you also have to be smart and figure out who do you want to target? Is it the decision maker or the supporter? Okay. And face painting, exactly. Yeah. So that's the decision maker and the supporter. Are we together up to that point? All right. We're good. We are good. Awesome. So there are 6 ways to determine your target audience. There's someone who's asked who your target audience. Target audience is your customer in layman's language. Target audience is your customer in layman's language. Now, the 6 ways to determine your target audience. The first thing is analyze your customer base and carry out client interview. If you already have an existing business, you want to look at who are the people, you want to look at the trends of people who've been buying from you. So who are the people who've mostly been buying from you? Is it ladies who are between 18 to 30-year-old? Is it all adult women? Sorry. I don't want to say old women, adult women, 35 and above, all right? So you need to figure out who has been buying from you consistently. Do you understand? So analyze your customer base and then ask questions. It's very, very important that you get feedback from your clients. Ask them questions, all right? You can do a survey, and it's easy to create survey forms. We have Google Forms that you can customize. Create Google Forms, all right? You can also use SurveyMonkey to create a survey and just send out to your clients on WhatsApp, all right? There's someone, when I asked about, the channels that we use for our businesses, someone said email marketing. You can send out an email. Do you understand? Then get feedback. It helps you to understand exactly who your clients are. When you get to understand who your clients are, then you'll be able to know, okay, if I have clients who are mostly between 18 to 25, there's a language, there's how I'll talk to them that I won't talk to maybe adult women, all right? So I'll know this is how I relate with my clients. If I have clients between 18 to 25, then I know mostly they will use maybe Instagram or TikTok, so I would want to use those channels mostly. So understanding your audience also helps you to understand the platform to choose. Do you get? Right? So that's the first thing. The other one is conduct your market research and identify industry trends. You need to do your market research and figure out where are my clients mostly coming from? Where are my clients? So you're looking at your location. Then what's the demand of that market? What's the population of the market? What's the demand of that market? If I supply, maybe if I'm doing production, is my supply meeting the demand? All right. Then when I'm doing my market research, I'm also looking at my market share. Okay. What percentage of, the audience do I have? Because remember, I also have competitors. Okay. So do your market research. And then if you want to start a business, there are platforms that you can use to, identify new businesses. There's a Google Market Finder, which is actually a free platform that you can use. So there's a Google Market Finder that you can use to identify new markets. If I'm in Kenya and I have a business in Kenya and I want to expand to maybe Uganda or Tanzania, but I don't understand the market in Tanzania or Uganda. I don't know if there's a demand of my product or service. I can go to the Google Market Finder, all right? I can put my website, and these are free platforms to use. I can put the link to my website, and then it will tell me my potential markets, all right? I can also check on Google Trends. It's also a free platform to use. What is trending? I can actually even know what's trending in Nigeria right now in terms of maybe a business. If I'm selling iPhones, right? I'm selling maybe iPhone 15. No, maybe I'm an iPhone shop, okay? But I want to bring in iPhone 17. Remember, I will be using money to buy this stock. So I want to figure out, are people actually going to buy this particular product? So I can always just go online and search, maybe iPhone 17. In Kenya, I look at the trends. Most people search for iPhone 17 in January or whatever. Right now, no one is searching for iPhone 17. Do you understand? So it can tell me, and it will also give me suggestions. People also searched for maybe MacBooks. Okay, so I know, okay, if I'm selling Apple products, if I'm selling phones, maybe I can decide to also bring MacBooks because I can see people are also searching for that. Or Fitbit watches, they're also searching for that. So you can search trends by location, and it also gives you recommendations on what's trending again in that market. Now, to access Google Market Finder and Google Trends, like I said, these are free platforms. I can have my colleagues, my moderators, drop the links to these two in the chat section. So the link to Google Market Finder and the link to Google Trends, you'll see them in the chat section. They're going to drop that in the chat section. So you can use the Market Finder to identify new markets. You can use Google Trends to know what's trending in a particular market, what particular region. You can even see you can even see trends by time, okay? So I can see, I want to search maybe the trends of, maybe the latest iPhones from last year to this year. You can always get that on those platforms. Google Trends and Google Market Finder. The links will be posted within the chat section for you in the chat section. Now, you also need to do, where am I? Sorry. Oh no. I'm here. Yeah. You need to do your competitor analysis. What is your competitor doing right? What is your competitor not doing right? Right? Check out their social media pages. Look at how people are interacting with them. Look at the feedback they're getting from clients. If I'm going to look at my competitors' pages, maybe they have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, and I'm stalking their pages and I see they don't have a lot of interaction on LinkedIn or Twitter. Most of their clients interact with them on, for example, maybe Instagram and TikTok. Then it means because we share the same audience, it means my audience is also mostly in these two platforms. So I would want to focus my energy on optimizing my Instagram and my TikTok because that's where the highest population of my audience is. Do you understand? So it's very, very important to understand your competitors. Now, if I check my competitors and I see maybe I'm a restaurant, right? They don't allow for deliveries. Okay, someone has to go to the restaurant to buy food. Maybe they just allow for takeout, but they don't allow for deliveries. Guess what? I mean, we are in the same business. I'm also a restaurant. I will start doing delivery. So now, aside from getting working clients, I have the advantage of people calling my business and getting deliveries. So it means I have an advantage over my competitor. And I looked at their pages and I figured out they don't allow for that. So that's why it's important to do your competitor analysis. Do you understand? Then there's creating buyer personas. Okay. So as a business, you'll find that sometimes you cater to 2 or 3 what do I call 2 or 3 audiences, different audiences. Okay. If you are a tailor, for example, or a fashion designer, I'll call you a fashion designer. If you're a fashion designer, you'll find that maybe most of your clients are either you're either catering to men and women. So you're not just limited to, women as your primary clients. Now you want to understand these clients better. So maybe you're a fashion designer and you do maybe just bespoke suits. Okay. You do bespoke suits and African traditional wear. All right. So most of your clients are for people who are doing suits. You'll find that maybe you're targeting people in the corporate sector. Okay. So you'll create a persona. You can have 2 personas for, the people in the corporate sector. You can decide one person, I'm going to name this person, let me figure out a name, Steven. Okay. So Steven is 28 years old. And this persona, remember, you're creating a persona after analyzing your audience. That's why step 1 was very important. All right. So I'm creating a persona after I've analyzed my audience. So I'm saying Steven is 28 years old. Steven is in mid-level management. He works in the corporate sector. Now, why am I creating a buyer persona? It helps me to understand my clients better, understand their challenges, and how can I sort to that challenge. So now I figure out Steven is in the corporate sector. All right, that means he has an 8 to 5. Okay, that means this person is very busy during the week. If he wants suits, he would either do ready-made suits, and if he wants customized suits, this guy does not have the time to be coming for fittings. I can't tell him, come for your fitting on Wednesday at 12. This person is busy in the office. So how do I make it easy for this client and still ensure I'm making sales? I can decide if I have an extra hand, will you be free maybe during lunch hour 1 to 2? I can send someone to your office to do the fittings. Do you understand? What challenge has that? I mean, what has that solved? This person doesn't have to come all the way, all right? So I can decide to send someone, or I can decide, maybe Steven says they're only free on Sundays. I can decide, oh, I can open on Sunday to take your fittings. So it depends. Now, creating a persona helps you to understand the challenges your clients go through that would limit them from converting from you. So if I have an extra hand, for example, they can do the fittings and then we do the tailoring and then we allow for deliveries. So you see, at the end of the day, I have made sales without having to coerce my clients or, tell them you have to come to the shop for us to, do your fittings for you and whatnot. Okay, so that's persona 1. Remember, Steven represents a population of your brand with the same characteristics. So once I figure out Steven's challenges, it means the people who have the same characteristics as him, I have also solved their challenge. All right. So that's why it's important to have a buyer persona. You can have 2, 1, 2, or 3 buyer personas depending on what you're offering, depending on your product or your service. Okay. Now, define who your target audience isn't. You don't want to focus your energy targeting people who will not buy from you. I cannot be forcing myself to be posting on LinkedIn or posting on Twitter when one post is giving me 2 likes. Okay, it's not worth it for me. Okay, so I want to focus my energy on people who will actually buy from me. So define who your target audience isn't, so that you don't use your efforts targeting people who will not make the final purchasing decision. All right. And then if you have a website, you want to link it with Google Analytics because you want to see the behavior of people when they come to your page. Where did they come from when they came to your website? Okay. Where did they come from? Who are these people? How much time did they spend on my website? Okay. When they came to my website, which page did they visit? What did they do on my website? So you don't have a website for the sake of having a website. You also want to know the performance of your website. And this is something that you'll talk about more. There's a class we'll talk about data insights in depth. That's later on. So I'll just give you, I've just given you a high level summary of that. Okay. I've already talked about how to create your buyer persona. Some people would call it buyer persona. Some people would call it customer profile. Okay, depending on who you're interacting with. So when you're creating your buyer persona, you're looking at age. All right, that's why I said Steven, 28 years old. Right, you're looking at gender. You guys, you can even give that person a name. All right, you're looking at gender. You can look at where they're located. Maybe Steven lives on the outskirts of, the town where you have your business. So a delivery would work for him. Do you understand? What are their interests? Steven likes bespoke suits because he's in the corporate, whatever. So he likes, like really, really, really nice suits. What is their income? So you're looking at, when I said mid-level management, then you can guess a range of their income. Why is it important to know their income? Because it helps you. Obviously you cannot know the exact income, but you can give a range. Do your research. It's like when you're looking for a job, right? And I go for an interview and they ask me, so what is your expected salary? Before I respond to that, I'll have done my research of that position. What is the pay of similar positions in the same industry, all right, in the same country? Do you understand? So you do your research. Understanding their income will help you to know your pricing. How are you going to price? What would they afford? Do you understand? If I price this suit at 20,000 Kenya shillings, will they be able to afford? If I price this suit at 100,000 Kenya shillings, will they be able to afford? Right? Education level, profession, all right? It also helps you to know how you can relate with them. How I would talk to an 18-year-old is not the same way as I would talk to a 30-year-old. Do you understand? Who do they trust and what do they read or watch? Once you understand also what they read or watch, you would also know, their interests. Okay, you can start with maybe discussing similar things before, create a rapport with your client. Do you understand? So that's how you create a buyer persona. Now, we talked about this. I think you guys gave me a response when I said, what are the benefits? It was the second question I asked. Benefits that have come about to your business by taking it to the online space. Some said visibility, you said more sales, you said more clients. Some said you're able to sell your products internationally. Do you understand? So there's enhanced recognition. More and more people get to relate with your brand and know about your brand. So you expand your visibility. There's also increased business value. What is the value addition you're bringing to your clients? Okay. Then there's customer loyalty. How do you relate with your clients? Okay. I mean, after clients buy from you, is it just goodbye and thank you? All right. Or it's I hope to see you again another time. So how are you also building your customer relation, which leads to customer loyalty? So there's customer identification. There is customer, what is it called? I don't say intake. The first thing, you've identified your customer, you've gained your customer, all right? You want them to make, you want to make them as repetitive clients, then there's customer loyalty, all right? Then once you have customer loyalty, these people know, oh, I trust this brand. I can always order from them and they bring whatever I've ordered. They never delay, they communicate well. Guess what? If you introduce a new product, it's easy for them to actually trust you with buying that new product from you. So it's easy for you to introduce new products. And then you also get, people want to be associated with high performing brands. So you'll find that most people would ask you, oh, do you have a position for sales? Do you have a position for social media management? I do this and this and this. I can be an intern. As you look at my work, and then we can discuss, maybe permanent terms as we move along. So you also get to attract good talent. All right. Any question that I have missed? Any question that I have missed? Let me check my Q&A. Let me check my Q. Are we together? Are we together? Let me see. I'm seeing a lot of emojis and I'm loving it. I'm loving the emojis. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. I think I have a few questions in the Q&A section. Okay. Actually, all of them have been responded to. All of them have been responded to. So for those people who had dropped questions in the chat section, in the Q&A section, please check for responses. They have been responded to. Thank you so much. What are decision makers? All right, decision makers are the people who make the final purchasing decision. Okay, you'll find out maybe most men love electronics. Okay, like, I don't know, TVs, sound systems. So sometimes those are the people you want to target mostly, right? Because they make that final purchasing decision. And I give the example of cosmetics. If I'm a cosmetics shop, I want to target mostly women because it's women who love makeup mostly, all right? Remember, we talked about decision makers and supporters. So decision makers are the people who make the final purchasing decision, okay? I'm sure the link can be copied. So anonymous, if you long press, it should give you an example. If you long press, it should tell you select all, copy, and then you can paste it somewhere else. Don't just click like at once. So you have to long press, okay? Thank you so much, Evelyn. I can see you've responded to all the questions in the chat section. I actually appreciate. Thank you so much. All right. I don't think there are any other questions that I have missed. Your question was not answered. How do I go through? All right. Dr. Bikisu, what was your question? I don't think I saw your question. How do I go through SAME for getting a target audience for a center for children with disabilities? So who are you looking to target? If you have a center for children with disabilities, who are you looking to target? Are you looking at donors? Who are you looking to? Are you looking at donors? What kind of donors are you looking for? Are you looking for well-wishers? I don't know. Who do you want to target? Who do you want to target? No. Google Market Finder is not the same as Google Business Profile. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Market Finder helps you identify new businesses, right, in new markets. I mean, it helps you to identify new markets. Google Business Profile, it helps with your visibility on the Google search engine, okay? Dr. Bikisu, I don't think I understand your question, so maybe you can rephrase it and then I'll look at it again, right? You can rephrase your question and then I'll look at it again. I know I've asked your question. I asked, who are you looking to target? If you have a center for children with disabilities, who are you looking to target? Are you looking at targeting donors? Are you looking for well-wishers? Are you looking for partners? Parents with children with disabilities. Okay. All right. So you have a center and you're offering services to children with disabilities, all right? Paid services, I presume, is it? And you want to target parents with children with disabilities. How do you go through the same? So for that particular niche, right? And I'm saying this because I have briefly worked with one institution that works with children with disabilities. It's mostly your involvement in the communities, right? Because I know these parents usually have communities, right? So how is your involvement in those communities? Because remember, they're not just open to seeing ads online, because this is very a sensitive case, all right? They're not just going to click things online they see, So you want to mostly start interacting with them in the communities they're in the spaces they're in, build their trust from there, all right? Because before now spreading your wings, out, especially. Does that make sense? Okay. That's why I talked about communities, and I gave an example of tours and travel companies in Kenya, and I gave the example for the Wanderlust Diaries community. All right. So there are instances depending on your organization, okay, because not all of them are for profit. All right. So you'll find that you want to start with getting their trust, so involving yourself in the communities where they're in. Okay, why is it most times one posts their products online, but one barely gets customers to buy? I always get worked up because of these people will price, but end up not purchasing. Okay, so when you're doing your social media content, and I'm not going to talk so much about this because there's a class that will take you through this. When you're coming up with your social media content, it is not about what you want to communicate. I would want to say 100 things about my business, but it is not about what I want to communicate. It is about what are my clients looking for. I always have to put myself in the shoe of my clients. What are they looking for, right? Then that is what I post. It's not about what does Beryl want to post, okay? And once I post, I don't want to be those people who, DM for price. I mean, personally, the moment I reach out to a business, I'm on their page and I see something and I'm like, oh, how much is this? And they're like, DM for price. Trust me, that's the end of me and that's the end of it. I'm not going to further my communication with that business again. So, how do you have to figure out what your clients are looking for, all right? And actually, I will take us back to this slide just to respond to that question. I'll take us back to this slide. Who do they trust? What do they read or watch? All right. So you need to really, really, really understand your audience to be able to know what you want. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Anything else? Yeah. Or WhatsApp for more details. You will talk to yourself. I will not WhatsApp you for more details. Yeah, because why? If I'm selling a mug, okay, I'm selling a cup. I've put my cup there. I've said, they are in stock in different colors and blah, blah, blah. And someone is asking, what's the cost or what's the price? And I say, DM. What's very hard in posting the price of this particular product there? It doesn't even make sense unless I'm offering different prices to different people. Do you understand? Unless I'm offering different prices to different people, which it's, there's some bit of disloyalty over there. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay, so I see more questions flowing in. I will task my moderators to respond to the questions. They'll see the questions in the, besides Makit, and Grace, there's some questions in the chat section, not in Q&A. There's some questions in the chat section. Please help with responding to them. Makit and Grace, please help with responding to them. No, it's everywhere. Trust me, Agnes. I have seen it everywhere. How do I convert leads to actual customers? Okay, so I actually love the questions that you guys are asking, but guess what? This is the first class. Over the next classes, all of these questions will be answered. So how do you convert leads to clients? First of all, I'll just, there is something called the customer journey funnel. The customer journey funnel is the journey your clients go through before they buy from you. So the first step is awareness. People, you know how a funnel looks like. It's wide at the top and narrow at the bottom, which actually means not everyone who gets to know about your business converts with you. But as a business person, you are supposed to ensure that more people move from the top part of your funnel to the bottom part. How do you propel more people to move down? All right. So when you're looking at the customer journey funnel, there's the awareness. There's awareness, there is interest, there's evaluation, there is engagement, and the last step is conversion. Now, 100 people can know about my business, okay? Then maybe out of the 100 people, 50 people show interest, okay? Then out of the 50 people, 30 evaluate. They'll be like, let me look at this business, let me look at their competitors. So they're deciding on who exactly or which product exactly to buy from you. That's evaluation, right? Then there's 20, maybe 20 or 10 engage with you, all right? And then maybe 2 buy from you. Now, as a business person, I'll ask myself, if I have 100 people who got to know about my business, and out of this 100, I only converted 2. As a business person, what can I do better to move people down my funnel? Do I need to intensify my marketing strategies? Do I need to change the content that I'm sharing? Do I need to improve my communication? Okay, so it depends on where on this stage they are stuck at. Okay, so that I know exactly what to do. If I engaged with 20 clients and only 1 bought from me, I will go back to these 20 and ask them, we interacted before, okay? Did you get what you were looking for, okay? How can I help you? Do you understand? Or is there something different you are looking for? So I need to go back to this 19 and figure out why didn't they buy from me, okay? So I can't just say, oh yeah, 20 is good. I discussed with 20, but only 1 bought from me. No. So as a business person, on every stage of the funnel, there are different strategies. You can decide to do remarketing. You can decide to maybe do offers or discounts. You can decide to reach out to them with maybe if they were looking for phones, you can decide to tell them, you know what, we also brought in phone accessories. Would you want to buy phone accessories from us? All right. So, I mean, it depends on whatever stage they are stuck at. Okay. Exactly. Do you have faith in your own brand? Thank you so much, Laila, for that. It just echoes what I said. Put yourself in your client's shoes. What are they looking for? Okay. It is not about you and what you want to communicate about your business. As a business person, I would want to sit down and say, we have the best furniture, okay? Blah, 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 blah. Maybe people are looking for recliners. Me, I'm there, marketing my, don't know what kinds of seats, okay? And maybe my target market is people looking for recliners. So do I want to, figure out what your clients likes first, okay? Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so Makit and Grace will respond to some of the questions in the chat. And those in the Q&A section have actually all been responded to. Thank you so much, my moderators. I appreciate. All right. Now, you want to make sales on social media, all right? What are the benefits? The first thing, okay, is understanding what social media is. I think most of us know what social media is. Who doesn't know what social media is? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Who doesn't know what social media is? Who doesn't know what social media is? Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure most of us know about social media, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all those. Okay, that's social media. I don't need to explain what social media is. I'm making my work a bit easier here, right? You have to understand. Now, what are the benefits of using social media? Obviously, you're not limited to people within your locality, okay? You can reach a large audience. You have a direct connection with your audience. We can DM, we can have personal conversations, right? If they decide to have the conversation with me on my page, that's fine. If we decide to take it on direct message, that's fine, right? But I have a direct connection with them. I know, and I know for sure, for those of us who have businesses here, they will tell you that they probably have clients, repeat clients who they've never met, like face to face in person, but they interact with this person on a daily or maybe frequently, but they've never met this person, and this is a loyal client, right? So there's that connection that there's that rapport that they've built with the client. Okay, you can create organic content. When we say organic content, we actually mean, when I go to Facebook right now and I make a post, I'm not paying to make that post. It's free. All right. So I'm coming up with content organically. Like that's organic marketing. It's called organic marketing because you're not paying for it. Okay. I can decide to do paid advertisements. And this is dependent on my budget. It's not like if I want to, do an ad on newspapers, they have a flat rate for quarter page, for half a page, for a full page, it's flat rate. If I want to do an ad, maybe in the TV, right? There's the rate they have for prime time. There's the rate they have for maybe, when they don't have a lot of viewers, because they also know maybe in the morning or during the weekday in the morning, most people don't watch TV. If you pay little money, your ad will appear during that time. Do you understand? So, and it's usually a flat rate. But now social media, I can say, I only have $50. Can I run an ad with $50? Absolutely. You actually can. Okay, so it's dependent on your budget, and then you're able to build your brand. We've talked about that. You can drive traffic to your website. Okay, I can be posting on Facebook. All right, but every post I'm linking with I can use remember, every post needs to have a call to action. A call to action is, what action do you want people to take after they read your post? Okay, buy now, call us to make an order, call this number to make a purchase, call to make an appointment, visit our website to book an appointment, visit our website to buy from us. So you need to have a call to action on every post. You've made your post over there. Now, what is the action you want people to take after they've read your post? Or do you want them to just read your post and move on with their lives? Okay, so that's also something you'll talk about. There's a class on social media management. You'll talk about that in that class, all right? And the best thing with social media, with websites, or rather digital marketing, you can also measure the outcome of your efforts. I can see if I posted in the last month, I can see what was the performance of each post. If I made 10 posts in the last 1 month, what was the performance of each post? How many people, which post had the most likes, which post had the most impressions, which post had the most interactions, which was my best performing post. If I've been making posts, some posts I made in the morning, some posts I made in the evening, and I figure out that the posts I made in the evening have more traction compared to posts I made in the morning, then it means most of my audience get online in the evening. So what does that mean? I should be posting more in the evening than in the morning, because posts made in the evening have more traction. Okay, so it's important to measure what's working out for you and what's not working out for you. And then with digital marketing, nothing is cast on stone. Even if I run a paid advertisement right now and I say this ad will run for 1 week, Monday to Friday, and it gets to Wednesday, and I see maybe I ran a lead I did an ad for leads, and maybe I wanted the ad to run for 2 weeks. The first week has ended, and I check on Friday, I only have 2 leads. I'll be asking myself, there's something wrong with this ad. It's already 1 week in. Why do I only have 2 leads? Is it because this poster or this creative is not attractive enough? Is it the language that I'm using? Do I need to change that? And I don't have to wait for the ad to, finish running after 2 weeks to change everything. I can always change it in between. I can even decide to stop it altogether. Okay. So there's nothing cast on stone in social media or in digital marketing rather. Okay. Now, when you're getting in social media, you've created your Facebook page or your Instagram, you don't just wake up in the morning and start posting. Okay. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, I've created a Facebook page or an Instagram page. Okay. What do I want to achieve? I want to get more followers. I want to increase my visibility. I want to increase my interaction. I want to make more online sales. So you need to understand what are your goals and then how will you measure them. If I'm looking at increasing my visibility if I want to increase my visibility as an objective, then my KPI for that would be the number of followers I gain. Do you understand? Okay. So you need to have your goals, and then how do you measure those goals? And then you need to ask yourself, what type of content will I be posting? Will I be using images? Will I be using videos? Will I be using infographics? Will I be doing blog posts? Do you understand? So will I be doing GIFs? What type of content will I be using? When will I post? I just give an example right now. If I figure out I'm posting in the evening, my posts in the evening have more traction, then why would I need to be posting in the morning? Okay. And then of all the channels, I'm not getting any conversations or any interactions or any impressions on maybe X or LinkedIn. Why do I want to be posting there if I don't have any, traction over there? So what channels will you prioritize? You can start with 1 or 2 channels. Most people say Facebook is for old people and whatnot, but guess what? It still has the highest number of users compared to all the other platforms. All right. And then who is in charge of creating your content and distributing your content? And then do you have a budget? If you have a budget for a website, you can get a web developer. If you don't have a budget, there are free sites you can use to get your free website. There's Wix.com, there's WordPress, there's Google Sites. All right. The links to this will be posted in the chat section by my colleagues. The list to this will be posted in the chat section. If you don't have a website and you want to create a new website, you can use Wix.com, Google Sites, WordPress. It's a whole other list, right? They will be posted for you in the chat section now. I don't know why it's moving forward. They'll be posted for you in the chat section. All right. All right. Now, making the most out of the internet. I mean, we've already talked about social media channels. Another benefit is automated customer service where, right now, especially with WhatsApp Business, actually, if you have a business, I would recommend that you use WhatsApp Business more than the other WhatsApp. So with WhatsApp Business, you can customize welcome messages, away messages, okay? If someone texts you at 6 in the morning, it's not just great ticks for them. They'll get an automated message. Thank you for reaching out to us. We will open at 8 a.m. So this person knows, I texted this business when they're still not open. They respond at that particular platform, okay? Then there's transparency for e-commerce platforms. Jumia, Kilimall, these are trusted sites that you can list your business, all right? Then, like I said, you always have to measure each platform that you're using, all right? Look at the interaction that you've garnered on each of the platform. It helps you to know if leveraging on that platform works for you, if that effort works for you, because at the end of the day, you don't want to focus or put your energy on things that don't have any return on investment, right? So focus on analytical tool and reports. That's another class that you're going to look at. Like I said, most people would say Facebook is for old people and whatnot. But it still has the highest number of users across all the other platforms. This is just high-level statistics. If you want to get updated data on this, you can go to Geopol, Geopoll, their site. They do a lot of analysis. So they do a lot of analysis. So you can get updated information on this on their site, Geopol, Geopoll. All right. We've already talked about social media platforms. There's TikTok. This is just an example of existing social media channels that we have. All right. Now, some questions that you need to ask yourself before starting out. Which network do I choose? All right. I just said, if you're a new business, start with one or two, actually 2 or 3 platforms. Okay. Start with 2 on the minimum, 2 or 3 platforms. And then over time, you grow. Over time, you grow. You look at, okay, this is the traction that I'm getting on these platforms, whatnot. Are my competitors on the other platforms? Watch out whatever engagement they have on those platforms. And then you can always expand over time. You don't want to start with everything all at once. Okay. So start with 2 or 3 platforms and then move over time. Okay. What activity do I want on this network and how often? I want to be posting. If I've opened TikTok, I want to be doing TikTok lives. All right. Maybe to be offering, I can decide to do product demos. Okay. I can decide to do product demos. Where can I do the product demos? I can do Instagram live. I can do Facebook live. I can do TikTok live. All right. So what activity do I want on this networks and how often? I want to be posting thrice a week or 4 times a week or 5 times a week. It's all dependent on you. Okay. Which group or community should I join? It's very, very important that you join these communities, the online communities, because the people who are in those communities, all right, you need to figure out the sector. And this is where the tours and travel, example that I gave comes in. All right. If you're a restaurant, there are these cooking communities. All right. If you are what kind of communities do I see online? All right, but you get what I'm saying. All right, then what kind of reactions do I want to elicit in my audience? Is it pleasure? Is it informative? Because if I want to appear as an informative person, LinkedIn is the best platform. All right, LinkedIn is very, very good for thought leadership. So if I want to be a thought leader, I would leverage on LinkedIn, okay, and be posting, new trends within our industry. If I'm into tech, maybe new technologies in our industry, all right? Then how much influence do I want to have and which influencer do I want to spot once in these communities? Influencer marketing. Instagram is very, 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 very good with influencer marketing. So if you want to get with identifying influencers and whatnot, you might want to leverage on Instagram and getting them there, following the influencers within your industry, okay? So those are the questions you need to ask yourself before moving out. All right, so we're almost getting to the last bit of the class. This is our second last pause. Let me see if there are any more questions. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Evelyn has posted the links to the free website builder sites. They're with you in the chat section. Thank you so much for that. All right. Chelsea, before we started the call, I said we don't offer recordings and we don't give the presentation, okay? So there will not be any recording being offered, and we will also not share the presentation, all right? All right, let me see if I have more questions in the Q&A. No. I have more questions in the Q&A. Answered 41. All right. Mind transportation. Sorry, I'm looking at the responded chats. I think most have been responded to, if I'm not wrong. Can't figure out which one haven't been responded to. I'm in the Q&A section, right? Most of them have been responded to, actually. Okay, most of them have been responded to. So the questions in the Q&A, my colleagues will respond to them. No, Angela, the recording will not be shared. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment, Amarachi. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment, Amarachi. All right. So the last bit, right, before we go for, it's almost lunchtime here in Kenya. It's 1:22. All right. So I should be preparing to eat after all this talking. All right. Now, this is just more or less like a recap of what we've talked about. Elements of branding, your business name, your logo, your tagline. Who can tell me what a tagline is? Who can tell me what a tagline is? What's a tagline? What's a tagline? Slogan. What's a tagline? A slogan, a motto. All right. Coca-Cola. What is Coca-Cola's tagline? Or what is MTN's tagline? Or what is Safaricom's tagline? If you're in Kenya, you'll tell me Safaricom's tagline. If you're in the West, you'll tell me MTN's tagline. If you're Coca-Cola is global, so what's Coca-Cola's tagline? MTN everywhere you go. Yellow field. MTN everywhere you go. LG, life is good, and that is global, correct? Thank you. I saw someone, yes, MTN everywhere you go. Coke gives life. Do I even know Coca-Cola's tagline? Not that I asked. Open happy. Okay, so many people are giving different taglines for Coca-Cola. Nike, just do it, exactly. Safaricom for you, correct. Glow with pride, Coca-Cola, real magic. I don't even know Coca-Cola's tagline. Yeah, Safaricom for you, exactly. Taste the magic. Okay, then Blikis says, my brand name is Closet Royal, my tagline is Palace of Fashion. Exactly. So now with all the responses, you guys understand what a tagline is, yeah? We all know. So since most people are, okay, another person said Coca-Cola is enjoy life, open happiness. You know what? Let me just get Coca-Cola's tagline for myself, because now I'm confused. What is Coca-Cola's tagline? Let me just search here Coca-Cola, because everyone is giving me different things. I also don't know what Coca-Cola's tagline is. Airtel, the smartphone network, exactly. It's real magic. The teacher does not know what Coca-Cola's tagline is. Coca-Cola. Exactly. Coca-Cola's tagline is real magic. Real magic. For the ones who are saying open happiness. Actually, let me tell you, the people who said open happiness, you're all correct, but it's been changing over time, okay? So there was Coke, the Coke side of life. That was in, actually, let me start from the top. The first tagline for Coca-Cola was, things go better with Coke. That was in the 1960s. Then it's the real thing. That was in the 1970s. Then there was Coke is it in 1982. Then always Coca-Cola in 1993. The Coke side of life, 2006. Open happiness, 2019. Taste the feeling, 2016. But right now the tagline is real magic since 2021. Yeah. So their current tagline is real magic. So actually, what does that tell you? Your tagline can shift over time. Okay? Your tagline can shift over time. All right? Yes, that's now their tagline. Exactly. They always have campaigns for different markets. Thank you, Cabello. Yeah. Then you also need to have brand values, right? So if you go, for example, to Impactor's website, you can have like 4 or 5 values for your business. You're looking at integrity, honesty, dependability. So what are your brand values, and why is it important to have brand values? When you're getting like clients who come to your business, all right, they, not even clients, even your own employees, there's a certain way they need to carry themselves around, all right? I cannot be your employee, all right? And then how I'm interacting with clients is just not even to your expectation. So I need to communicate my brand values so that they know that they're always representing the brand. For example, right now, if I have to have a meeting, I'm based in Kenya, right? If I have to have a meeting on behalf of Impactor, I know how I'm supposed to carry myself. I know how I'm supposed to communicate, all right? Because I know what is expected of me. So what are our brand values, okay? That's why it's important to have brand values. And then brand personality. We've already talked about this. We've already talked about brand personality, all right? Now, tips for building a reputable brand. Stay customer focused. It's about what the customer is looking for. It's not about you. What is the customer interested in? Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Be unique. Don't just get into the market and start doing what has already been done, right? It's a replication of efforts. There's nothing special you're offering that hasn't been offered. So be unique, communicate clearly, all right? Even in your relationships, communicate clearly, please. Then be authentic, all right? Be authentic and then deliver consistently. It's very, very important that you're consistent with your delivery because it helps to build customer loyalty. It helps to get you repeat clients and it helps to build customer loyalty, all right? Now, when you're looking at effective brand communication, we first of all looked at what is your brand voice. All right, first of all, before we get to the brand voice, define your visual identity. This is where you're looking at the elements you will use, your logo, your brand colors, all right? Which design or style are you taking with your posters or with your creatives? So define your visual identity, identify your brand core elements, all right? Identify your brand core elements, right? Then determine your brand voice. So this is now where you're looking at your personality that your business will embody. Train your team. If I run my business myself, remember we are humans. You can get sick anytime, something can happen, you can travel for work. So does it mean if I travel, things will stop moving for my business because there's no one else who can do what I'm doing? So you need to train your team. It also helps with your longevity and your sustainability, all right? Then compile your guide, all right? Now, when you train your team, have everything in a guide. I'll tell you, when you join Impactor, for example, they will give you the guidelines, all right? They'll give you our brand guidelines. So I already know our brand guidelines in terms of colors, logos, fonts to use, all those things. Then there's the communication guidelines, okay? So these are things that you need to have them documented. Someone joins your team, you share with them before they start any tasks. Do you understand? So those are the things that you need to look at, all right? Now, when you want to optimize, all right, your branding communication, first thing is, in marketing, they say storytelling is the future of marketing. Storytelling is the future of marketing. So use storytelling a lot. But the thing is, human beings are very visual. So if I'm doing storytelling, I can do short videos, I can do collection of images, I can do carousels, all right? But I'm telling stories with my content. I'm telling stories about my brand with my content. I'm telling stories about my product with my content. It's not just, things that are there and that's it, right? Then multi-channel strategies, where we're looking at leveraging on different channels, right? Then measure and refine. I've talked about always measuring the performance of your efforts on all these social media channels, right? I've always talked about that, all right? Then consistency, the first thing. Deliver quality and make sure it is consistent. Quality over quantity always. Quality over quantity always. Communicate transparently, handle issues promptly. If I go to your page and I post an inquiry in the morning at 8 a.m., you respond to me at 6 p.m. Are you even serious? Okay. So you should have a turnaround time. You can say, I might not see your post immediately you post, but my turnaround time for responding to clients, the most, and it's a stretch, is 2 hours. Okay. So it could be less, obviously, in 1 minute, in 2 minutes, but I can say the stretch of my turnaround time within my working hours is 2 hours. So, and you know, I can include that in my communication guideline. So if I have a social media manager who comes in and I want to hold, I mean, they're already doing their job. So I am maybe appraising their work and reviewing their work. And I see that people have been making posts in the morning or dropping comments, say, and then the person is responding like 1 day later. I'll tell them, did you read our communication guidelines? Turnaround time of responding to comments within working hours is 2 hours. So why didn't you respond within that allocated time? This person cannot say they did not know, because it has clearly been listed in my communication guideline. All right. So handle issues promptly. The other thing is, if I have a client complaining, maybe I did a delivery and when it got to them, it was not in the right condition, right? Then they come to my page and they complain. Okay, they complain, oh, I ordered this from you. It came in maybe when it was spoiled or whatever, right? So I don't need to delete that comment. Why do I need to delete it? No, I need to handle it. Okay, please DM us for more information. Can you send us your number? All right, so we can figure out what the problem is. They send you their number. You show them the photo. This was the package and it left our office. Maybe we used our rider, so maybe it was spoiled in transit. Are we the ones taking liability? If it is the rider's company doing the replacement, and you know I'm the one who partnered with the driver, then are we going to offer you a refund or whatever? So handle issues promptly. That's actually what I'm saying. You don't have to go and delete things, right? Then encourage feedback. The more people you have dropping positive reviews on your page, the highly likely you are to get new customers. Okay. It's like if I want to go on vacation, I'll go online and look for hotels in Mombasa or hotels in Diani or hotels in Naivasha. Then I'll look at, of course, there are different hotels. I'll look at what each previous client said about those hotels. Okay. I'll read through them. I look at the number of stars they have. If they have like 1 star, I'm not going to patronize them. Okay, because it means they don't have a lot of reviews or they have a lot of negative reviews. So always encourage feedback. It helps with your star rating and it helps with giving the confidence of new clients to purchase from you. All right. So this basically brings us to the end of our class. I hope you enjoyed the class. I've only gone 5 minutes above time. So sorry about that. I hope you enjoyed the class. Thank you so much. I had a good time. Like I said, it's time for me to eat now. It's my lunch hour. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the class. You will have, thank you so much, Jennifer. So there'll be more classes throughout the week. We'll have classes in the next few weeks. Like I said, 80% certification is based on 80% attendance, right? So thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your time and appreciate all the questions that you asked. All right, I'll see you next time. I'm not sure which session I have scheduled with you again, but I hope to see you some other time. Thank you so much and bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. There is only an attendance list for people on YouTube. If you are here on Zoom and all of you are here on Zoom, you don't need an attendance form because Zoom automatically picks your attendance. Yeah, there's a class tomorrow, there's a class on Wednesday, there's a class on Thursday. Yeah. I think the schedule was shared with you before. The schedule was shared with you before. So just look at the schedule to know which sessions to look forward to. Yeah. Alrighty, thank you. Bye-bye. 1 hour, 30 minutes. Sessions are 1 hour, 30 minutes.